Hello, Facebook fans and YouTube fans of DX Engineering. It's Tuesday afternoon here in the Eastern time zone of the USA, 17:15 Zulu on August 22nd, 2023. And this is Tuesdays with DX Engineering. And today we have a special guest, a brand new employee for DX Engineering. He actually works at DX Engineering now. This is Jeff, N5TJ from Austin, Texas. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Tim. Thanks for having me today. It's a joy to be here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you on the team, and so you've been taking calls and doing customer service work for us for about a month now. What surprised you? What's your biggest surprise that you've learned so far helping our customers?
That I've been able to help a lot without getting too much help, because a lot of the questions I can have, but there's the breadth of products that DXE. And while my activity has been mostly HF related over the years, the amount of people we have on the team and the knowledge they have to be able to help people. But I've been able to kind of step in, take calls, and there are people calling with questions that are very detailed, and there are people calling with questions that are newer hams, and they are really to be straightforward. So it's been a real joy to be able to kind of help people, and for me, learning as I'm going through this activity into areas of the hobby that I have been less active in the past. So it's a lot of fun.
So this is not your first go around at an amateur radio company, and
No.
so why don't we talk about your first go around?
So I grew up in Missouri, in St. Louis, and in my summer times in high school and in college, I worked for Mosley Electronics, which was not far away. There had been a change in ownership at that time, and the gentleman that owned it, K3LR, so he contested, so I operated some from his station. I knew Gary. I helped him during the summer times and went to ham fests and whatnot as well. So that is my first experience back in the day of packing up, going to ham fests, working with ham. So um, I remember that as we talked about. It's with a lot of business B2B world in between and working with cellular carriers and whatnot. It's good to be back and talking to hams and working with hams.
Now, how cool was that to work at an antenna company? Where I mean, there's aluminum, there's a lot of history there. I mean, Mosley has been in the antenna business forever. I mean, that had to be as a young guy in college, that had to be really cool.
It was a lot of fun. We did a lot of testing. He had some freestanding crank-up towers, so we would, use an antenna as a reference, and then the antenna that was under test. That was kind of early in the days of work antennas, so it was, adding bands to tri-banders and making changes to antennas, putting them on the tower, cranking the tower down, making an adjustment, cranking the tower up, taking some measurements. So yeah, it was a great summer job.
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't get any better than that. And now, so many years later, you come to DX Engineering, and you never know what a customer is going to ask you.
No, you don't, or you don't know who's going to call. I mean, it's interesting. It calls. You get a call from somebody. It's like, oh, I know this guy. I had one yesterday from a very well-known W1 who was asking a question. It's like, wow, we've worked. Oh, I know you. So yeah, it's a lot of fun from that aspect as well as the new hams. You never know what the question's going to be. The person that's calling, and people are very appreciative of the time that we and the team are able to put in to help answer questions.
Well, and that's what's great, non-commissioned, so you take as much time as it takes to help somebody, and you know, um, I guess you're learning a lot about maybe VHF, UHF radios, which is not your sweet spot, right?
That's correct. I mean, I guess I would say I know VHF a little bit because now every HF radio has 6 meters, and I'm active on six. Back in the day, you had to have a different radio to do 6 meters. There's so much activity, but yeah, it is true. But I think with the team here, there's a lot of experience in those areas, and going through that and learning the different mounts and antennas, being able to help people with those questions. So again, for me, it's fun because I get to learn new things. People have a new radio, they've got a programming software, they're trying to get it connected up. We're kind of looking through the manual together and doing the research to understand, okay, here's how you do this, here's the menus. So yeah, it's the learning curve is steep right now for me, but I'm really enjoying it.
So let's talk about your home station. You know, you, you say the call sign N5TJ, and you think of large antennas and tall towers, but that's not the case. So tell
No.
us about your home station.
Home station's simple. Live in an HOA type community here in Austin. We moved here about 3 years ago. Fortunately, I have the space. We don't have a really small lot. Unfortunately, we don't have any really tall trees. So I'm just using a simple N-fed wire, fed with an onion, and then do a tuner. And it radiates pretty well. I call people and they come back. And then on 6 meters, which has become kind of an obsession of a band, chasing grid squares. I've got a little push-up mast and just a small 2-element Moxon antenna, which is so small you barely see it when it's up, and then I can lower it and it's covered and hidden from the house. So yeah, it's enjoy being on the band. It's a good thing. It's a good time to be on the band. Sunspot cycle is high right now, and it's a great time to be on HF.
So let's talk about this stealth Moxin. Have the neighbors ever said anything, or the HOA people ever said anything?
No, the one neighbor on one side, they bought their house at this just right before us. We're friends with, so they can see it kind of outside their side kitchen window when it's up. So it's right there. But no, they've never said anything. Beyond that, I'm not sure anybody's seen it because even when it's extended, it's in the back side of the house. Um, if you're walking down the street and you look just in the right space, you can kind of see it over the roof level. But nobody's ever said anything about it. And hopefully our deeds actually don't say you can't have antennas specifically. It's just, no one wants to see anything, right? Everything's you're in the cellular business. You know all about that. No one wants to see their cell towers in their backyard. They just want their phones to work.
That's right. And so tell us about your 6 meter operating. I mean, are you working any DX, or is it just grid squares?
It's some DX. That's one of my goals. I did get WAS. DXCC would be another. I think I'm at 87 or 88 now. So it gets harder. I mean, you need a good European opening to kind of break open to new opportunities. And we've had a few, though. This year, propagation hasn't been great. I've only been on 6 for 3 or 4 years. Last year, I remember I think it was the ARRL June VHF was just a tremendous opening, and I pretty much gave up on the contest just because there was so much on a chase. I think I were 95 Europeans that day, which was just shocking from Texas. So I enjoy that. At the FFMA award, which is the Fred Fish Memorial Award for working all 488 grid squares in the U.S., there's about 50 people that have done it, and I think I need 8 more. Me and about another 50 people that need just a handful. So it's a lot of those are unpopulated, so you need rovers that are out, and there's a lot of people that get active and do that. So it's fun.
Yeah, those are lofty goals. I mean, working all the grid squares in the U.S. But what kind of power are you running? What
500 watts. So I've got a
500?
500-watt amp. In this house, I've only got 110 in the shack here. So, unless I wanted to, put 220 in, but quite frankly, 110 is enough. My antennas are relatively close, and I think with that power, we got a lot of solid state amplifiers today that work well. If you've got matched antennas, it become with FT8 and mismatches, it's a challenge. Things like the heat up, as you know. And people kind of have to, there's a lot of view on FT8 that it's a low power mode, and you can make a lot of contacts with low power, but with simple antennas and sometimes stretch propagation, you can run a little bit more power, but you really need to have a matched antenna to do that.
Yeah, that is the secret to longevity with the solid state amplifiers is matched antennas. And so let's take a look who we have in the chat room here, Jeff. M0 Delta Sierra Kilo is in there. November 5 Kilo Mike. Chris.
Chris? Yeah, hello, Chris.
Yeah, he knows you. And our friend Dino, Kilo Lima Zero Sierra, who writes for onallbands.com. Onallbands.com, the DX Engineering blog. And from Italy, it's India Uniform 3 Bravo Tango Yankee. Val, good to see you. And Mexico, X-Ray Echo 2 Zulu Zulu. And from Scotland, it's Germany Mike 0 Victor Radio Papa. And look, it's the middle of the night, and here's Champ. Hi, Tim and Jeff. Just arrived home from from Ham Fair in Tokyo, and let's see, in Thailand, it's got to be about 1:30 in the morning. So nice to have you on here, champion, and glad you made it back. And we've got Kilo Fox 3 Echo Mike Sierra's on, and our friend Dan from Kentucky, WA4 Mike Oscar Mike. Hi, Tim and Jeff. I still have my Mosley TA33 I purchased in 1976. It still works great. They were made to last. And that was the signature of the Mosley antennas, Jeff, was that it was heavy duty stuff.
It was, Tim. I think it was to really appreciate stainless hardware made to last. Not complex antennas back in that day, but you would come across people that had really old antennas, and they were still up and they were still working for people. So that was really a testament to the design.
Yeah, my first tri-bander was the TA33 Junior. So Eric, Whiskey Sugar 4 Kilo, loved the Mosley antennas. Back home from Huntsville, Bob the Traveler, that's WD8 November, Victor November. And Eric says, great to have you at DX. And here's some, speaking of DX, here's some good DX. Oscar Yankee 1, Oscar Foxtrot is on. I've worked some US stations on 6-meter FT8 this year. And Scotty, this is Kilo Golf 9 Zulu, part of the DX engineering sales team, and welcoming Jeff to the amazing team and family here. And our friend Juan is on, Tango Golf 9 Alpha Juliet Radio. Hola, Tim and Jeff, greetings from Guatemala. Nice to have you on, Juan. And let's see, we've got Randy, Kilo 5 Uniform Foxtrot. And sounds like Juan is going to come over to the 6-meter barbecue. Are you going to go to that, Jeff?
I unfortunately am not able to make it this year. That's a big deal, but I'm going to be gone, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's it's nice to see Dick and Jimmy doing that again. And Dick Ewing, Kilo Oscar 7 Nevada from Cody, Wyoming. And nice to have you on. So lots of good stuff and momentum. Are you running calls through the DX engineering phones like you do in a contest, Jeff?
Well, Tim, we had a good pile up here just a minute ago you were running. When it comes to the phone, it's not about rate, it's about quality and getting the job done. So
that's it.
Accuracy is key. And to your point, people call that technical questions. Sometimes at the end of that, people want to order. Sometimes it's just technical questions, but it's just trying to get people to, get the answers that they're looking for so they can make the decisions and move on.
Well, we're all thrilled to have you on the team. It's great to have your expertise, and I think you're learning a lot too. I know I learn something every day from our customers, and it's so good that we have, between email, text messaging, on the phone, lots of interaction with the customers. And we're just all trying to have fun with the best hobby in the world, right?
We are. Yeah, I would say as DXE, we're quote unquote on all bands and available different modes. People want to reach out to us, they can get us.
Yeah. And here's Jose says, good antennas from DX Engineering survive the hurricane. So look at that. And of course, I can't get that photo of the 30-meter vertical that we sent to Bouvet out of my head that stayed up through all the bad weather there. And so we got good stuff here, and it's great to have you on the team. And hopefully you'll get to work with everybody on the team, because it is a deep bench, and we've got really high quality people. And I hope you never get bored, Jeff.
Thank you, Tim. It's a pleasure to be here. Haven't got bored. Don't know how that's going to happen. Beautiful hobby and great people to work with and customers. So I'm having a lot of fun.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, take care of yourself. And thanks to all of you for viewing today. And we'll see you next time here at DX Engineering.